next.
Yes.
Am I making this happen?
Yes. Yeah, that.
But you know what? As the driveway became more and more full of black plastic bags, I actually found myself emboldened.
Right.
I have to do this.
Yep.
I became driven to take everything out, the CDs, the clothes, you name it, everything in black plastic bags. Sneakers. He's an Imelda Marcos for sneakers. All of them in boxes out on the driveway. And I have to tell you, God is truly present in my life. The next morning at 7 o'clock, he showed up with a truck. Who knew he knew how to get a truck?
Right.
I didn't.
Wow.
He showed up with a truck at 7 in the morning, and his friend stayed in the truck and watched him. Because his friend knew.
Right.
He didn't enable him.
Right.
He made my son lift every single bag, put every single bag in the truck
Yes.
himself, which was wonderful.
Yes.
He then drove it to a storage area where he placed it. Who knew he could take care of himself this way?
But
none of those things I thought was going to happen happened.
But they can. That's the thing. They
But
can.
it scared me to death.
Yes.
So
yes.
basically, it's letting them go, even though you know they might fall.
Yes.
Watching someone you love that much, like your son, to watch him fall, it's very hard. So I guess what you're trying to say is giving a little bit of tough love may push them in the right direction. Now, what if it doesn't? What if it's worse? Because an alcoholic, they drink. They use any excuse to drink. So
let me ask you, Linda.
If you kick them out.
What control do you have?
I feel people really don't have that much control over the alcoholic.
That's not true.
Because they will continue to drink if they want to.
No.
There's nothing you can do. And legally,
Making
unless
excuses.
they sign themselves into
Making excuses.
Al-Anon or one of those places to get treatment, they will not go. And there's no way you can force them.
You have
legally.
to fight. You have to learn to fight for the person that you love. That's the thing. You have to learn how to fight for that person you love. You're saving that person's life. Like my son. I could have said, you grown.
Right.
And I told him, I looked at him, I said, don't you tell me you grown. I said, I had you, and I'm not going to let you destroy yourself. And you coming with me. You're going to either come or I'm going to drag you. And I was not playing because I live with an alcoholic. You understand what I'm saying? You have to love them just that much to want to save their life. Because if you don't do it, they're not going to do it. Do you understand me? And this is what I believe in. Just because I told my son what he wasn't going to do.
Right.
And I said, fight me if you dare.
Right.
And I meant fight me because I was going to fight him all the way. I didn't care. I was going to put every feet, teeth, and anything I had to do to save him. And I was going to do that. And I told him, I said, you know what? And you know I will hunt you down. So wherever you going, I'm going to follow you.
One has to be careful here. You know, if you anything forced is never forceful. You cannot force him to have treatment. But if you use techniques like you use numbers, if you have a group of people to confront him, and whenever you confront him, it must be about recent events. Look what you've done. Let's talk about this particular issue. You can't go talking about the entire disease, as it were. Let's talk about this particular issue. Get a friend. Get numbers to confront him. Be specific as to what the problems he's causing. Let him realize it. But most of all, he must stop drinking. He must abstain. He or she must abstain. I'm talking about she. Women have smaller, lower tolerance for alcohol. In fact, a woman will take a small amount of alcohol and they'll get stoned. But you must remember, when women are pregnant, there are complications.
Yes.
If you take medications and you drink alcohol, there are complications. Some drugs are potentiated with alcohol. So one has to take all these things into consideration. See your doctor. Get him to see a physician about his problem, such that he can get the appropriate treatment. But we cannot force anybody to have treatment. Anything forced is never forceful.
Right.
Okay. So how does one influence the person who is an alcoholic to get them to get help? If they're so much on, I'm not going, this is not going to work for me. They really need the help. It's very hard situation. It's very hard. because this person, they wake up, they need the liquor. They at lunchtime, they need the liquor. That's their dinner. Oh, I'm going to have to cut my answer short about that. We'll do it on the next segment. We're running out of time for this show. We will have a continuation of this show. I hope our viewers are enjoying this show. I hope it's going to help someone out there learn a little bit more about the life of what a person living with an alcoholic experiences. I want to thank you so much. If there's anything you'd like to say to the audience before we wrap up the show, to help somebody out there, help them.
I would just say that alcohol is something that we get involved with so slowly that we must be aware of the part we play in it.
Yes.
Just be aware of what we do.
There's some interesting research that show that if you drink certain amount of alcohol, it prevents you from having heart diseases. If you look at the French, the French people, their outlook in drinking, they have less of an illness, less heart diseases, etc. Also, one has to know the amount you should drink, which would prevent you from becoming an alcoholic. Like 1 drink a day. And that's a 12-ounce beer, or a 1.5 ounce of spirit, or 5 ounces of wine, or whatever. And 1 drink, or maybe 2 for some people. 1 drink a day is about a good dose to have. But if you have this crave and this urge, it's bad. You're going downhill.
Thank you so much.
But I think that it'll be, understanding a lot of talking. If you got alcohol, you got to talk to them. You got to be positive with them too at the same time, because that will help them. Because you're both going through it, and you have to let this person know that we're both going through this together. Right. You're not going to go by yourself. And I am forceful. I am very forceful. But at the same time, I am positive with my son or whoever to keep their spirit high, because that's what I want to do. I want to not degrade him any kind of way. I want to keep that spirit high and let him know, yes, we're going to go through this together. You're not going to go. I'm not going to let you fall. And that's what I want to tell people is, yes, it's a hard situation, but you can get through it, and you can get through it together just by talking to the person, soothing the person, sometimes just touching the person.
Okay, thank you so much for being on my show today. I really appreciate it. It's a very hard topic for us all to discuss, because one way or another we're all affected. Hopefully this show will help someone out there learn to cope with it a little better. Thank you so much for watching the Finding Wisdom show, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for watching the Finding Wisdom show. I really appreciate my viewers out there. If you have any comments or anything at the ending, please write to the email address enlightenmentsing@yahoo.com and let me know what your thoughts are on this show and how I can improve it and how I can help enable other people to help themselves and help others who are affected by alcoholism. Thank you, Arlene, for being here. Okay. I'm so happy to have you as my guest. Mr. P. Ramratan, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And thank you, Karen, for being here.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Let's pretend we're talking. Or maybe not.